Hello everyone, welcome back. Now let's start with the next topic of your industrial law. That is your Workmen's Compensation Act of 1923. Before we start, I just want to let you know what is compensation. Compensation is something in a monetary form or in a kind form. Mostly, we can talk about a monetary form benefit which has been given to the workers, laborers or the employees due to any suffering which they must have caused due to the work which they have done for the employer or which they have worked during the time of employment. So, in short, compensation, Workmen's Compensation Act basically is going to talk about the compensation which is being given to the worker if any mishap, any accident or any particular unfortunate thing happens with the workers during the time when they are working in the factory. Now, what is the object behind framing of the Workmen's Compensation Act of 1923? First of all, to compensate a workman incapacitated by an injury from accident. So अगर if a particular worker has got incapacitated because he was working in the factory and during that time unfortunately he met with an accident and who loses his limbs, hands, legs or anything or any accident happens, then in that case he should be given some sort of compensation. Second, to make efforts on prevention of accident, giving workmen greater freedom from anxiety and rendering industry more attractive. That means to say, giving them some sort of protection. Yes, when they are working in the factory, when they are working in the industry, it is the kind of a homely thing. Even the employer is concerned about their future, their safety and all. Third thing, to protection of workmen as far as possible from hardship arising from the accident. After he meets with an accident and during that period of time, that will be a hardship for him to cover up with that, not just physically but even emotionally and mentally. To that, to give them a particular monetary benefit and giving them some kind of security. Next, the main objective of the act is to impose legal obligation on the employers to pay compensation to workmen involved in accidents while working in the premises. Now this is very important. The major reason behind this act was to actually keep a legal check on the employers also, so that they don't take undue advantage of this position where the employee who is often a very much poor scale, where he won't be able to speak for his right, and that is where the act is going to speak for himself, and the employer will be required to pay him if during the time of his employment he has suffered any accidental loss or any particular disability while working in the premises. Now, there are few of the terms out of which I would like to first introduce with the term of dependent. Now, the term dependent means any of the following relatives of the deceased workman may be. यानी अगर एक particular worker है जो फैक्ट्री में काम कर रहा था, during the time of working he meets with an accident and his death takes place. तो उसके बाद जब उसके relatives या family person who are left behind, they will be called as a dependent. Now exactly who are the people coming under the definition of dependent? सबसे पहले we are not talking about the very दूर फार के relatives, उनकी बात नहीं कर रहे, हम near and dear ones की बात करते हैं. So उसमें सबसे पहले कौन आता है? A widow, a minor legitimate or adopted son, an unmarried legitimate or adopted daughter और a widowed mother. यानी एक उसकी wife होगी, उसका minor बच्चा होगा who is a son, who is a legitimate son or he can be an adopted son. An unmarried, minor होगी या major होगी, till the time she is unmarried, she will be called as a dependent on the worker. So unmarried daughter, legitimate or adopted, or at the same time widowed mother, जो उसकी mother रहेगी, जो अगर she is a widow, she will be considered under it. Second criteria में क्या आता है? If wholly dependent on the earnings of the workman at the time of his death, a son or a daughter who has attained the age of 18 years and who is infirm. So if in the second case, if the children are above the age of 18 years but they are wholly dependent upon him, then even they will be coming under the definition of your dependent. Third, if wholly or in part dependent on the earnings of the workman at the time of his death, जिस वक्त उस particular worker की death हुई, these people are dependent upon him. सबसे पहले a widower, a parent other than a widowed mother, अ माइनर लेजिटिमेट सन, यानी अगर एक विडोवर रहेगा, उसके बाद उसके पेरेंट्स रहेंगे अदर देन द विडो मदर, यानी फादर भी हो सकते हैं। अ माइनर इलेजिटिमेट सन, यानी शादी के बिना भी अगर कोई सन हुआ होगा तो वो भी कंसिडर किया जाएगा। एंड अनमैरिड इलेजिटिमेट डॉटर, अनमैरिड डॉटर है वो भी कंसिडर होगी। अ डॉटर लेजिटिमेट एंड इलेजिटिमेटेड और अडॉप्टेड इफ मैरिड एंड अ माइनर और इफ द विडोड और अ माइनर। सो यानी इन केस में अगर माइनर भी होगा तो भी वो कंसिडर किया जाएगा। अ माइनर ब्रदर, इन द नेक्स्ट केस अगर कोई माइनर ब्रदर हुआ, अनमैरिड सिस्टर हुई और अ विडोड सिस्टर हुई, इफ अ माइनर एंड इन दैट केस इवन दे विल बी कॉल्ड एज अ डिपेंडेंट। एंड लास्टली अ विडोड डॉटर इन लॉ, अगर आपकी कोई डॉटर इन लॉ होगी जो विडो होगी, जिसके अगर आपका कोई सन नहीं है एंड दे आर डिपेंडिंग अपॉन यू, एंड दीज पीपल विल बी इंक्लूडेड अंडर द डेफिनेशन ऑफ योर डिपेंडेंट। Next, as per this particular act, Workmen's Compensation Act, who can be called as a workman? Last time we did it in your Industrial Dispute Act of 1947. Abhi we are talking about in the Compensation Act. A workman has been defined under Section 2(1)(n) as follows. Workman means a person who has, other than in the nature of the seasonal employment or otherwise in the purpose of the trade and business, who is other not in the case of your railway servants, even they will be coming under the definition of workmen. A master of a seaman or other member of the crew or a ship, even they will be coming under the definition of the workmen. Then a captain or other members of the crew of an aircraft, even they will be coming under the definition of the workmen. A person recruiter as a driver, helper, mechanic, cleaner or in any other capacity in connection with the motor vehicle. A person recruited for work abroad by a company who is employed outside India in such a capacity that is specified in the Schedule 2, that is related to the ship, aircraft or a motor vehicle, then in that they will be called under your workman compensation. Now, the employed in such capacity as is specified in Schedule 2, whether contract employment was made before or after the passing of this act. So basically all these people are there under the criteria of the workman. So workman compensation में उनको compensation मिलेगा and they will be benefited due to that. Now next, employers liability to pay compensation. Why do you think? When do you think? At times ऐसा भी होता है कि workers ने अपनी खुद की गलती से accident हो गया है. They was doing some kind of mischief, they was doing some kind of fun and they met with an accident. So will that be the possibility? Employer needs to pay him for the compensation. Let's see that. Now, cause of a personal injury. सबसे पहला देखा जाएगा कि what was the reason of the personal injury. There must be some personal injury caused to the workman by virtue of subsection 2. That means to say, आपका जो injury हुई है, there should be something relevant to your work only. Now, all occupational disease shall be also deemed to be as an injury specified in the part A of the schedule or the schedule 3 or part B of the schedule 3. यानी at times अगर मुझे कोई disease हुई है, working in the dangerous kind of your chemicals, danger kind of machineries, dangerous weapons and all, अगर उस सब में deal कर रही हूँ तो chances are there मुझे seasonal disease या मुझे कोई भी disease हो सकती है, skin cancer, lung disease, breathing issues, so even that will be covered under the personal injury. Rest, all those things which have got my the injury, that should be relevant to my job only. Second thing, the disease mentioned in part A and schedule of the schedule 3, if a workman employed in any employment specified in A, अब ये आपको जानने की जरूरत नहीं A part में है क्या, because that is absolutely lawful. So just for now understand कि there is some schedule जिसमें rules and regulation दिया, उसमें एक part A में कुछ चीजें mention की गई है regarding your do's and don'ts for the workers. So contract any occupational disease specified therein, the employer shall be liable to pay the compensation. कुछ भी होगा, कोई भी disease होगी, अगर relevant to work है, आपको देना ही पड़ेगा, आपको compensation देना ही पड़ेगा. Next is your disease mentioned in part B of the schedule 3. If a workman employed in any employment for a continuous period of not less than 6 months, if a person has been when I'm talking about the part B of the schedule 3, it says if a workman is continuously working for a period of time where he should be employed for more than 6 months, then in that case if he contracts with any occupational disease, then the employer shall be liable for the paying of the compensation. यानी 6 मंथ से लेस हुआ, then in that case आपको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, बट अगर 6 मंथ से ज्यादा हुआ, then you will have to pay the compensation for the same. Now, next is to the workman. The injury must be caused to someone who is workman within the meaning of the act. That means to say, जो अभी हमने definition किया था workman का, अगर वो workman premises में है, work कर रहा है, register में उसका नाम है, then only he will be getting the compensation. If randomly someone appears and he meets with an accident, then in that case employer will not be held liable. उसका हो सकता है आपको थोड़ा बहुत first aid करवा करके, थोड़ा सा medicine provide करके, that's it, okay. But rest, if you are a workman, you will be given a proper compensation. Next is your injury by accident. When I am saying injury by accident, अभी कोई चीज आपको एक्सीडेंटल लगनी जरूरी है तो ही आप बोलोगे मुझे कॉम्पनसेशन दो, वरना आपको कोई कॉम्पनसेशन नहीं मिलेगा. Now injury must be a result out of the accident. जो भी इंजरी आपको खुद के में से लगी है तो आपको नहीं मिलेगा कॉम्पनसेशन, बट इंजरी ड्यू टू द एक्सीडेंट हुई है तो आपको कॉम्पनसेशन मिलेगा. अभी एट टाइम्स होता है ना, मिस्टर ए एंड बी ने कुछ गलत किया बट सी को लग गई, तो दैट इज ड्यू टू द एक्सीडेंट ओनली. Accident may either mean some particular occurrence happening at some particular time, or it may be even mean the cumulative effect of series of accident met by an employer in his work. यानी एक बार लगी या series of work में बार बार लगती गई, all will be called as accident only. Arising out of employment, इस टर्म का मतलब क्या होता है? A workman is entitled, जब हमने डेफिनेशन किया था उसमें मैंने एक टर्म यूज किया था, arising out of employment. That means to say a workman is entitled to get the compensation from his employer if he is injured while on duty during the occurrence of his employment with his employer. यानी वो on duty होना चाहिए, वर्क पे आया है बट काम किसी और का कर रहा है, अपना पर्सनल काम करने गया तब उसको लग गई है, he will not get the compensation. If he is on duty and during the course of his employment, he will get the compensation. Otherwise, he will not be eligible. Now, what do you understand by the term in the course of employment? कई बार ऐसा होता है ना कि employer भी आपको कोई और काम के लिए outside the factory भेजे, वहाँ पे आपका एक्सीडेंट हो जाए, then in that case, will you be eligible for compensation? That has been given. So it says the accident must take place in the course of employment. आपका ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट पीरियड, मेरा सुबह 9 o'clock से इवनिंग 5 o'clock तक काम है, उसी के पीरियड के टाइम पे मुझे लगी है. इट रिफर्स टू द एट द टाइम ऑफ एंड इन द इंजरी मस्ट अकर ड्यूरिंग द सबसिस्टेंस ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट. वो काम ही कर रहा था तभी उसको लगी है. इफ अ वर्कमैन डाइज ड्यू टू एक्सीडेंट व्हाइल ऑफ ड्यूटी and during the course of his employment with his employer, his dependents are entitled to receive the amount of compensation from the employer. He is off duty, but it is during the time of course of his employment only, and in that case, his family will get a compensation. वो इस केस में आपको नहीं बोल सकते कि नहीं आपको employment में compensation नहीं मिलेगा because you are off duty. नहीं, you have been doing work for the employer only. Next. Circumstances employers not liable to pay compensation. अभी कई बार ऐसा भी होता है कि जहां पर employer is not liable. Now let's see which are the situation. सबसे पहले इंजरी नॉट एक्सीडिंग 3 days पीरियड, यानी छोटी मोटी लग गई है और आपको छोटा मोटा, जिसकी इंजरी हार्डली 2-3 दिन में ठीक हो जाएगी, या किसी को अगर वायरल डिजीज हो गई है तो 1-2 दिन में ठीक हो जाएगी, then in that case I am not liable to pay the compensation as an employer. Where the injury caused to the workman does not result into the total or partial disablement. ना कुछ उसको टोटल डिसेबलमेंट हुआ है, कुछ हाथ नहीं कटा, कुछ नहीं कटा है, ना पार्शियल भी नहीं हुआ, फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ नॉट एक्सीडिंग 3 days, देन इन दैट केस आई एम नॉट लायबल. अच्छा, किसी को अगर सपोज लो छोटी सी खरोट आ गई तो आपको कॉम्पनसेशन नहीं देना, बट हाँ उसको फ्रैक्चर हो गया 2 महीने के लिए, देन इन दैट केस आई विल हैव टू गिव हिम द कॉम्पनसेशन. Next, injury not resulted death and is attributed to the workman. That means to say, where the injury is not resulting in the death, मरा नहीं है कोई इंसान, उसको हर्ट नहीं हुआ है, and is directly attributed to the workman under the following situation. अभी उसकी डेथ नहीं हुई है बट कुछ कुछ इंसिडेंट्स हो चुके हैं, then in that case compensation किस हिसाब से देना पड़ेगा. Under the influence of drugs and etc. वर्कर खुद ही ड्रग्स लेकर आता है फैक्ट्री में काम करने के लिए, ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम अगर उसको हर्ट हो जाता है, देन आई एम नॉट लायबल टू पे हिम कॉम्पनसेशन। इफ द वर्कमैन सफर्स फ्रॉम एन इंजरी at the time of the work where he was required to be in a full-fledged proper condition, but he was under the influence of drink or drugs or any particular, then the employer will not be liable for any compensation. Second, willful disobedience, जानबूझ करके, मैंने बोला हार्नेस पहनो, हेलमेट पहनो, गार्ड शील्ड पहनो, पर वो नहीं पहन रहा है, purposely he is not following the orders, where the workman suffers from any injury by willful disobedience of the order or the rule which in he was purpose required to securing the safety of the workman, the employer is not liable or for any such disobedience, and it will be called as willful disobedience or a deliberate or intended behavior, and he will not be required to pay any compensation. नेक्स्ट पार्ट इट इज विलफुल रिमूवल ऑफ सेफ्टी डिवाइसेस, जानबूझ करके हार्नेसेस निकाल दिए, जानबूझ करके जो डिवाइसेस मशीनरीज में लगे थे वो सब निकाल दिए, प्रॉपर शील्ड एंड ऑल वो सब भी निकाल दिया, फेंसिंग निकाल दिया, देन इन दैट केस एम्प्लॉयर कुछ नहीं कर सकता, कॉम्पनसेशन नहीं पे करने की जरूरत है। वेयर द वर्कमैन सफर्स फ्रॉम एन इंजरी बाय द विलफुल रिमूवल और द डिसरिगार्ड of the safety guards of the other devices which he knew he have been provided by the purpose for securing the safety of the workman, then he will not be getting any sort of compensation. Now the next part is what are the rules regarding the compensation. Now first is your temporary disablement. अगर पहले चीज मुझे कैलकुलेशन ऑफ माई कॉम्पनसेशन किस वे में होगा, सबसे पहले अगर टेम्पररी डिसेबलमेंट हुआ यानी छोटा मोटा लगा है, जैसे मैंने कहा आपको 1 मंथ का 2 मंथ का लगा है, देन इन दैट केस मुझे क्या करना है, वेयर द डिसेबलमेंट इज टेम्पररी, दैट इज वर्कमैन नॉट बीइंग एबल टू अटेंड द ड्यूटी फॉर मोर देन 3 days ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ इंजरी इज एंटाइटल्ड टू कॉम्पनसेशन एट द रेट ऑफ हाफ मंथ पेमेंट। जितना भी है, पहले सपोज अगर उसका 1000 रुपया पर मंथ होगा तो दैट इज 500 पेमेंट, हाफ मंथ पेमेंट ऑफ द सम इक्विवेलेंट टू द 25% of the amount of wages of the workman, यानी जो भी उसका वर्कमैन उसका हाफ करके उसका 25% के हिसाब से उसको पेमेंट की जाएगी। Now if the disablement continues for more than 28 days from the days of the particular counted from the date of injury, यानी अगर आपका 28 डेज से हुआ तो हर दिन के हिसाब से आपका कैलकुलेट होगा एंड उस पर्टिकुलर पीरियड के लिए उसको वेजेस पे की जाएगी। That was your in case of your temporary disablement. Now where my disablement is permanent total disablement, permanently मेरा एक हाथ कट गया, permanently मेरी आइज चली गई है, permanent मेरी लेग चला गया, then in that case, in case the permanent total disablement resulting from the injury, the amount of compensation shall be 60% of the monthly wages. 60%, 1000 रुपीज आपको पर मंथ मिलता है, उसका 60% इज सपोज 600 रुपीज, इंजर्ड वर्कमैन मल्टीप्लाइड बाय द रिलेवेंट फैक्टर, यानी जो भी अदर फैक्टर्स होंगे उसके बेसिस पे, और रुपीज 90,000 विच एवर इज मोर, जो भी कैलकुलेशन आपके नंबर ऑफ पीरियड ऑफ डेज एंड अदर थिंग्स को बोनस एंड ऑल एवरीथिंग को कैलकुलेट करते हुए विच एवर अमाउंट इज मोर 90,000 और 60% ऑफ द मंथली वेजेस ऑन एन एवरेज जो भी कैलकुलेट होगा वो जो भी मोर अमाउंट है आपको वो पे किया जाएगा। Now, third thing, if suppose a death of a person takes place, पहले हुआ total temporary disablement, थोड़ा हुआ उसके बाद full permanent disablement हुआ, fourth part हुआ आपका death। अगर if a person dies, where the death of a person results from an injury on amount equal to 40% of the monthly wages, वहाँ पे 60% था, यहाँ पे आपको 40% of the monthly wages of the deceased workman multiplied by relevant factors, number of years he has worked and all those factors, और amount of rupees 20,000 whichever is more, जो भी amount more है 20,000 और 40% whichever amount is more आपको वो दी जाएगी। फोर्थ सिनेरियो परमानेंट पार्शियल डिसेबलमेंट, परमानेंटली चली गई, छोटी सी उंगली कट गई है और अगर आपको सबका कान कट गया है और सपोज थंब कट गया है, देन इन दैट केस व्हाट विल बी परमानेंट partial disablement. Such percentage, in that case, the compensation which would have been payable in case of permanent total. तो permanent total के हिसाब से ही आपका यहाँ पे calculation होगा permanent partial में भी. That is 60% of the amount or 90,000. After determining the loss or earning capacity caused to that injury. आपका उस बेसिस पे देखा जाएगा कि आपकी फ्यूचर की अर्निंग कैपेसिटी कितनी लॉस हुई है, उस बेसिस पे आपको पेमेंट दी जाएगी। This was your whole concept when we talked about your where the compensation is been calculated on the basis of the type of injury you have occurred. Now let's move to the next part, that is your doctrines. Now these doctrines nothing but the rules. Now what are the few of the rules which are being stated in your Workmen's Compensation Act? Now over here there are three doctrines which are being given. Doctrine of your assumed risk, doctrine of common employment, and doctrine of negligence, common negligence. Now over here the first doctrine says, now why this particular doctrine has been put up? Generally the students do ask me this. See, basically the doctrine, the rules are being given to give a kind of a protection to employers also, to give a kind of importance to the employees also. दोनों चीज को equally maintain करने के लिए this particular doctrines are being given. Now the first doctrine of assumed risk. मतलब क्या होता है कि जब भी जो भी कंपनी में मैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फैक्ट्री में मैं काम करने आ रही हूँ, आई हैव टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड कि मुझे इतना रिस्क होगा ही होगा, एंड उस टाइम पे अगर मैं उस रिस्क के लिए कॉम्पनसेशन मांगूंगी, देन इन दैट केस इफ सपोज इन द फैक्ट्री ऑफ अ एम्प्लॉयर इज हैविंग मोर देन 100 वर्कर्स, सो बेचारा हर किसी को अगर वो कॉम्पनसेशन देता बैठेगा तो उसका तो कभी कोई प्रॉफिट ही नहीं होगा, उसकी इंडस्ट्री प्रॉपर रन ही नहीं कर पाएगी. सो फॉर दैट रीजन द फर्स्ट डॉक्ट्रिन सेज डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ assumed risk. Now the assumption of the risk doctrine says that it is instance when a person knows all the risk of activity, that person accepts the risk when he voluntarily engages in the pursuit. जैसे ही वो काम करने आता है वैसे ही वो एक्सेप्ट करता है कि इतना तो मुझे चांसेस आर देयर कि एक्सीडेंट इंजरी हो सकती है. Therefore that person cannot sue or cannot file a case for damages based upon the injuries which arise from given activity. In other words, if you know what you are going to do and that doing something possesses a risk of harm and then you sustain an injury when engaging in it, you may not later sue for the damages as a result of your injury. बाद में तुम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि मुझे इंजरी हो गई अब मुझे पैसा दो, because you are knowing what you are doing and next you can get an injury out of the same. Moving ahead, it says generally, now what is generally when the assumption of the risk of the doctrine applies. Now it is necessary that the plaintiff, that the person who is going for the employment, that the employee does not meet lawful against the another party, does meet with the case elements within the will of the case. That means to say कि उसको पता था कि ये पर्टिकुलर थिंग के कारण उसको इंजरी हो सकती है, एंड देन इन दैट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट एलिमेंट ऑफ assumption of the risk, and that person voluntarily takes it. No one is forcing him to do so. And in that case, he cannot go and ask for the compensation. Now, in this particular, it says every person who is going to go for the employment, the employer is required to get him the information कि this much is the risk involved. Are you ready to willingly to perform the same? If you are ready, okay, come ahead. Still, उसके बाद unfortunate reason के कारण कुछ हो जाता है, तो then yes, an employer will have to give the compensation, otherwise not. Moving ahead, the next is doctrine of common employment. Now doctrine of common employment क्या बोलता है कि अगर आप लोग फैक्ट्री में बहुत सारे वर्कर्स काम कर रहे हैं, एक दूसरे की गलती के कारण अगर आप लोगों ने कुछ इंजरी हो गई है, then in that case every now and then अगर again the compensation is being paid by the employer to the employees, तो ये लोग तो नुकसान करवाते रहेंगे. So that's the thing. The doctrine of common employment is an exception to the rule of master's liability for the wrong of his servant. जनरली क्या होता है कि वो बोला जाता है कि अगर सर्वेंट ने कुछ गलत किया तो मास्टर को ही पनिशमेंट होती है, बट दिस इज लाइक समथिंग डिफरेंट. द डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ कॉमन एम्प्लॉयमेंट was the assumption that when the workers contract to work, they know what the risk they are exposing themselves to. Now this was taken to include the knowledge that they want to care on the part of the fellow workers and may be injurious to the fetal of the acceptance, and that risk might happen कि किसी ना किसी से गलती हो जाएगी, and in that case common employer cannot be expected to offer protection from the rest of the employers, and for that reason you can't hold each and every time the employer liable for the compensation. Now what is the essential ingredient in this is the essential ingredient says of the doctrine of common employment are first the wrongdoer and the person injured must must be a fellow servant. किसी ना किसी कोई common employee के कारण ही गलती हुई. Employer ने गलती की है, so then in that case he will get compensation. Otherwise he will not. At the time of accident, they should have been engaged into the work only. अगर वो लोग मस्ती कर रहे हैं, टाइम पास कर रहे हैं, उस टाइम पे कुछ हुआ, that is a separate thing. But if they are working, then in that case it will be calling as a common employment only. Now, next is your doctrine of contributory negligence. See, आपको इंजरी हुई है, एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, we are not denying for the same, but there is some kind of contribution done by you also because of this injury has taken place, or because of which this particular accident has taken place. Now this says the concept of contributory negligence is used as a characteristics, conducting that creates unreasonable risk to oneself. मुझे पता था मुझे हार्नेस पहनना है, मुझे पता था मुझे हेलमेट पहनना है, but still I was not taking care, then that was my contribution towards the negligence and the accident happened, so मुझे पूरा compensation नहीं मिलेगा. The idea is that an individual has a duty to act as a reasonable person. When a person does not act in this way and the injury occurs, that person is held entirely and partially liable, responsible for all his injury, even though another party was involved in the accident. दूसरी पार्टी की गलती थी, but उसका भी कुछ नेग्लिजेंट था, and in that case he will not get any protection. The doctrine of common law is if the person knows his negligence, contributes or causing to an incident in which the person injured, the party can collect any damages of money from the person who has caused it. That means to say, जिसने भी उसको cause किया, but still he can't claim any compensation because this doctrine often ended in unfair result. क्यों क्या होता था? हमेशा employees गलती करते थे, but employer को pay करना पड़ता था compensation. So that the states now use it as a comparatively negligence. Instead, completely relatively lying the employer liable for the same. And that is why each and every person, he has to determine how much injury he has caused himself by his own doing, and he needs to recover for the same, and no one else is going to pay. But any which ways, these three doctrine of assumed risk, doctrine of common employment, doctrine of contributory negligence was being removed later on by the Employees Compensation Act of 1923. वो completely उसको abolish कर दिया, but still for your syllabus it is there, so you have to do it. Moving ahead, it is in this short, it has been mentioned in the Workmen's Compensation Act. Any person by any particular salary, any particular department, he will be eligible for compensation only if he has been very much vigilant about his own rights, about his own duties in a right manner. Otherwise, he will not get the compensation. At times, penalties are also being decided by this act, as and when whatever wrong is being done by the part of the employer, if they are not paying compensation, they will be eligible for penalties also. This was all mentioned in your compensation. In the end, I still want to say compensation is nothing but a monetary benefit given to a person as he has suffered any sort of injury while doing a work in the premises of the industry or factory. Thank you. With this, we are finished with the Compensation Act of 1920.